Hey kids, Pastor Chris here. Welcome to another episode of RMPC's Kids Questions. Here's our question for today. Is it bad to want something that somebody else has? That is a great question. That's a great question because if we're being honest, we all experience that at some point. For all of us, there's a point where we see someone and they have something and we want that thing. And so it's good for us to ask, is it bad for us to want something that somebody else has? Well, the answer is maybe, but it depends. When we think about wanting something that somebody else has, for a lot of us, the first word that comes to our mind is the word jealousy. And for most of us, we think jealousy is always a bad thing. But the truth is, there are a couple of times in the Bible where God says that He is jealous. God says that He is jealous for us. So there are times in the Bible where God's people, they're chasing after idols, they're loving things more than they love God, and God says He is jealous for them because He loves them and He wants what's best for them. And that is not a bad kind of jealousy. There's a place where the Apostle Paul, writing to one of the churches, says that he is jealous for them because he loves them and he wants what's best for them, and they've given themselves over to things that are not good for them. And so jealousy isn't always a bad thing. So there are a couple of times where we can want something somebody else has, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are 3 questions we need to ask in order to know if it's bad to want something somebody else has or not. The first question is, the thing that I want that that person has, does God say that is something good for me? Is it a good thing that I want? So when we look at people, and maybe we look at people and they have a strong faith, or they know the Bible really well, or they have good, healthy friendships, and we look at those things and we think, I want that. Those are good things. Those are things that God also wants for us. But there are also a lot of times where we can see things that people have, and those aren't good for us. Sometimes we see other kids and they're really popular, or they have really cool toys, or things like that, and you know what? Those things are not good for us. So the first question is, the thing that I want, is it good or is it bad for me? The second question is, why do I want that thing? So even if it's a good thing that I want, why do I want it? Do I want it because it's going to glorify God and it's going to help me live life God's way and be the person He made me to be, and it's going to help me to bless other people? Or do I want that thing, even if it's a good thing, really just because it's going to make me feel good, it's going to make me feel cool, it's going to make other people envious of me? So even if I want a good thing, we also need to want that thing for the right reasons, to glorify God, to be the people He made us to be, to bless other people. And the third question is, how am I willing to get that thing? If I want a good thing and I want it for the right reasons, I still need to get it the right way. I need to get it God's way, which means I don't get it by trying to steal it or to cheat to get it. I'm not willing to sin to get that thing. If I'm willing to sin in order to get that thing, even if it's a good thing, and even if I want it for the right reasons, if I'm willing to sin to get it, then it's bad for me to want that thing. But if I want a good thing, and I want it for the right reasons, and I'm willing to get it the right way, then it's actually not bad to want something that somebody else has. There's one last question to ask though, and that is, when I see this thing that this other person has and I want it, how is that going to affect my relationship with them? Because even if it's a good thing I want, and I want it for the right reasons, and I'm willing to get it the right way, if seeing somebody else with that thing when I don't have it makes me upset, if seeing somebody else with that thing makes me not want to be their friend anymore, or it makes me treat them badly because I'm so jealous, so envious of that thing, or if I really wish they just didn't have it so that I could have it, then that's not good. And then it's bad to want that thing that somebody else has. And so those are the three questions we need to ask. Is it a good thing that I want? Do I want it for the right reasons? Am I willing to get it God's way? And am I willing to be happy, content, even if I don't get that thing? Those are the questions that we need to ask in order to know if wanting something that somebody else has is bad or if it's okay. Because if it's good for us and we want it for God's glory and we're willing to get it God's way and we're willing to be content even if we don't get it, then no, it's not bad to want something that somebody else has under those circumstances. I hope this was helpful, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week for another episode of RMPC's Kids Questions.